Now it's my pleasure to introduce our special guests. Joining me today are Joseph F. Kovar, Senior Editor, CRN. We also have Bill Hansey, Global Product Marketing, Symantec, and Claire Dean, Senior Director, Global Strategy and Cloud Transformation, Symantec. To learn more about our guests, just click on the Speaker Info button, and please don't forget that you can ask a question at any time during today's presentations. All you have to do is type that question into the designated area and hit submit. Today's program is about achieving channel success by offering a rich security portfolio of products and services. We have a noted industry expert, CRN's Joseph Kovar, who will discuss the unique market challenges and opportunities around security. And then we'll hear Symantec's experts who can help you enable the channel to leverage the market situation. And then our three guests are here to answer your questions. So with that, here he is, CRN's Joseph Kovar. Welcome, Joe.
Well, thank you very much, Mary. Glad to be here. And
glad you're here.
Thank you all, everybody, for being here today. Glad that you could join us. And Mary, I think with this, I'm going to pass it back to you and take a breather.
Sounds good, but stay alert because there'll be lots of questions for you later. I'd like to say thanks again to Joe. And now here's Bill Hansey of Symantec.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Bill Hansey. I'm a Global Product Marketing Manager here at Symantec. And I want to spend the next couple minutes, maybe 15 minutes, 10 slides, going through a solution that's perfect for your customers and protecting their endpoints and their email infrastructure. To give us some context about what endpoint security is about, all the questions that Joseph just asked that you will likely ask your customers are answered through our new endpoint suites. This slide is it's a mind read, or it's a eye scrambler.
You're giving us our money's worth.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. Yeah, we're paid by the word.
Yeah.
So if you're on a smaller device, you'll get this deck afterwards. So please just listen to my voice and don't worry about the smaller text. But down the left-hand side, you can see that Symantec's portfolio is quite broad. We protect users, devices, gateways, applications, regardless of where they exist, whether they're in the cloud, they're virtual, on endpoints, or on mobile devices. And so with that broad portfolio, selecting Symantec as your vendor for security is a wise choice. Symantec is the leader in endpoint security, and all of our products are backed by the Security Analytics Platform, which you can see across the bottom of the slide there. That Security Analytics Platform lets you know what you don't know. So, it's hard to answer the questions of what's happening in a customer's environment unless they have the data. And that analytics from all of the endpoints and monitors and sensors that we have around the globe feed and fuel our endpoint solutions. Our business, to make it simpler for partners to consume how broad our portfolio is, we break it into two different chunks. The middle one, the threat protection, protects endpoints, data centers, and gateways. With those products that you might have heard of as endpoint protection, data center security, mobile security, those products are all in place in order to prevent malware from entering or getting into and residing on your customers' devices. The other half of the portfolio is in the information protection umbrella, where we protect data and identities. And Joseph mentioned earlier about making sure that the right people have the right access to your data and making sure that data doesn't leave your network as a customer. And so when you're working with the customer and asking those questions about what type of security they need, Symantec is an easy choice for you to maximize your revenue by being able to sell a very broad portfolio. And then for those customers that have special needs, our cybersecurity services, it's a hard one to say, provides monitoring, incident response, as well as simulations and managed security. So that's kind of the broad scope of what we wanted to talk about today, but specifically answering the questions that Joseph brought up, we created new endpoint suites at the end of 2015, and we did it for three reasons. One, from a partner's perspective, we want to be able to provide something that's simple to quote and sell and can capitalize on the growing bundles market. And so by 2019, that market should be just about $3 billion. We also we did quite a bit of research, several months worth, and spoke with partner sellers, our sellers, industry analysts, to make sure that the products that we were combining together would compete well against our competing vendors, but also be the most highly desired products by our prospects or our customers. And then lastly, we wanted to make sure that if you are already a Symantec partner and you've sold any of our suites or bundles in the past, that we would have a clean migration path from those older products to the more highly valued products in the endpoint suites. Okay, so Joseph proposed a lot of questions that are facing our customers and our mutual customers and what those problems look like. And from my perspective, when I look at the challenges that our customers are facing, the first one is productivity. We have mobile devices, ever increasing, as Joseph said, that need to be protected, that oftentimes are not. And in that productivity, mobility is one piece of that answer. The other part of the answer is making sure that those mobile devices are protected. So our customers are continually trying to make that balance between productivity and protection. And with Symantec, what's great about the new endpoint suites is that a customer doesn't have to make that trade-off. They can actually do both. Which brings us to the middle column there, and looking at what our customers and your customers are facing is increasingly dangerous every day. Malware is exponentially growing, and a day doesn't go by where there isn't a headline about cyber threats or cybersecurity threats. And so for you as a trusted advisor to your customers, you can really be there for them, be their hero. And then lastly, the endpoint suites are particularly good for partners. For one reason, customers' budgets are not increasing. And it's just the fact of the way the world is today. And so being able to shift by reducing the licensing costs, we can shift some of that existing budget to you so that you can wrap services, management services, and deployment services to those customers. So not only can they be productive and have mobile workforce that enables BYOD, but can also be protected. So a target customer, if you choose and select Symantec, which I hope you will as one of your trusted vendors, I would hope that when you think about endpoint security and those target customers, that you really take a look at the functional IT, the guy or gal that are in the trenches doing the day-to-day work, but also try to have conversations with the C-level folks, because the needs for endpoint security and protecting the email infrastructure are quite intense, and that it does take quite a bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Takes a lot of effort in order to make sure that you're really protected and productive. All right, so now let's get down in the weeds a little bit. And again, I apologize that the text is so small. If you're on a smaller screen, I'm feeling for you. The new endpoint suites, there's two different versions. What the research showed is that customers really had two primary needs: endpoint security, so those securing those devices that you and I touch every day, and then securing the information coming on and off those devices, so securing the email infrastructure. And so much like you saw in the very first slide, the strategy slide, the endpoint suites protect users, data, and the devices, shown there in the orange in the middle. The endpoint suite is specifically targeted towards laptops and desktops and mobile phones and tablets. It comprises three of our top-selling award-winning products. Endpoint protection protects Windows, Mac, Linux devices. And endpoint encryption also protects Windows, Macs, and Linux devices, as well as encrypts mobile media. And then for mobile threat protection and mobile device management, your customer can securely attach either company-owned or privately owned devices to their network and maintain some level of security. Adding onto endpoint suite on the right-hand side is the endpoint suite with email. It has all of the products that are in the endpoint suite, but then adds email infrastructure protection with three more solutions. Our messaging gateway, which is deployed as a virtual appliance at the gateway, is fantastic at preventing data from leaving a customer's network. Not only can it stop content from leaving based on policy, file type, user, group, it can also prevent, it obviously is a great place to stop spam. So if you have unwanted mail or unwanted traffic that you don't want to have on your internal network, deploying messaging gateway is a great way to prevent spam and malware from entering. In addition, if you do have a customer that's in a vertical that needs to encrypt email, if it's a healthcare, financial, retail institution, then deploying the gateway email encryption is a great way in order to maintain or achieve those compliance initiatives, as well as doing it very easily and simply. It's not, you don't have to rely on a user in order to make a decision about what gets encrypted. It's all done through policy. And the really, really great thing about it is that the recipients of encrypted emails don't have to have software on their devices. They just log into a portal that can decrypt and read the email clearly. And then lastly, and the one that's probably closest to my heart, is the Mail Security for Exchange. Most of our productivity every day is done through sharing information through email, and it is the heart for most of our customers' organization, and we need to protect that application, all of the emails on there, as well as the server. And so when you're looking at this and the benefits from a partner's perspective is, instead of you having to try to sit there and pitch 6 different solutions in a customer's environment, you can pitch one and then go back through and do deployment over time. All right, so this slide is, again, God darn it, there's just too many words. Again, I was paid by the number of words. What I want you to take away from the slide, we'll just spend a couple seconds here, is that when looking at the threat protection and information protection across the bottom, in order to really have, as Joseph said, there is no such thing as, 100% security. You're trying to mitigate the risks at all times. And by preventing malware from getting into an environment and protecting information from leaving an environment, endpoint suites are very good at doing those 2 things. And then the benefit and that's a benefit to a customer. The benefit to you as a partner, again, and I'll say it one more time, is that by reducing the licensing costs, you can use the existing budget, the remaining existing budget, for doing more deployment and wrapping services. And we find, oftentimes a customer may have product deployed, but may not have it configured properly. And that's where you can really add some value as a trusted advisor to those customers. The new endpoint suites are subscription licensing. So from a partner's perspective, what's great about that is that year 1, year 2, year 3, year X is the same amount of revenue that's coming in year after year. It's user-based. The meter is fantastic. So instead of you having to try to count all the devices that each one of the employees have, you just have to count the number of employees. So it makes it very easy to quote. And then if you have customers that are in select verticals like government, public sector, education, we have various licensing programs for those customers. And if that weren't enough, it's kind of like the infomercial, you get Ginsu knives as well. If you're not already a Symantec customer, what makes Symantec unique and what makes it proud for us to work there is that being the market leader, we protect more customers around the globe than anybody else. We protect 175 million endpoints, which is market leading. Our endpoint protection is fueled by 3.7 trillion rows of telemetry. That telemetry has been gathered since 2008. So we've got about 8 years of telemetry, which makes it a very competitive advantage amongst other endpoint vendors. We have 57 million attack vendors, that's million with an M, in 157 countries around the world. And we have visibility that's unique because we can see nearly 1/3 of all the enterprise email traffic scanned every day. So to wrap it up, I just want to make sure that I drive home the part about selecting Symantec as your security vendor to pitch to your customers will create bigger deals, and endpoint suites, and in particular, will do that in order to deploy multiple products, and will increase margin. That with the existing budget that's in place, you can also increase your services revenue, whether it's deployment or ongoing management. And then a happy customer and satisfied customer is a customer that comes back time and time again. So what I would ask you to do after this webcast, and you get this deck yourself, check out Symantec.com and the product page for endpoint security. And if you're not already a registered partner with our partner program, click on the partner net portal link from Symantec.com, and there you can download assets to share with your prospects or customers, including data sheets and product guides and that sort of thing, as well as all the training material in order to really get the in-depth knowledge about our endpoint solutions, endpoint suite, and our email solutions. So anyway, at that, I will pass it to me, Mary.
Thank you. I learned something, that being protected is the same, or it sure helps being productive. Those 2 words go together.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that. Now we have Claire. Welcome, Claire. We're glad you're here today.
Thank you. I'm very
Your
excited.
closing comments?
Sure. We have redesigned the partner program. The biggest question I always get is why. And it's because we're now focused on security. And we had to redo the program to really help our partners get great potential earnings out of that, out of our security portfolio. So the thing to remember is it's much simpler. You can get right to platinum. Once you get to platinum, you're accruing MDF, you're unlocking the growth accelerator rebate across the entire portfolio. So you're being paid on a broader portfolio than you were before. And all of the certifications are really very much streamlined. So it's much simpler. You get faster track to platinum, and then you're going to be earning a ton of dollars on a wider portfolio.
Great. All right, now our Ginsu knife salesman will bring it home for us. What do you think?
I want to
Bill?
say thank you to everybody for giving your time, and those questions were fantastic. I would sum it up with selecting Symantec as your security vendor to pitch to your customers as a safe bet, being the leader in market, leading market security vendor out there. You know, we've been in the business for security for a very long time, and selecting Endpoint Suite specifically to sell to your or to pitch to your customers is a great way to free up the existing budget so that you can spend more time successfully deploying and managing those customers and making sure that they are productive and, you know, doing well as being protected.
Great. Thank you very much. And thanks to all of you. And, of course, to our viewers as well, thank you for being here. And that is all the time that we have for Q&A. But remember, if we didn't get to your question, we will answer it via email after today's channel cast. Once again, thank you for attending. It's been brought to you by the Channel Company and Symantec.